welcome to Ollies workshop. So, it's spooky season.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche. Los antiguos dioses invocamos ahora la obra de la magia oculta.
And I got a spooky doll for you, or at least my interpretation of a spooky doll. So, I've been wanting to make like a cute monster doll for a while, and I started thinking and planning out the doll once I saw a bunch of Pinterest pins. But of course, before we get to the concept art, check out my Etsy shop down below. And now we can get to the concept art. For this doll, I wanted to give her some cute little ponytails along with some little horns. For the outfit, I decided to give her knee-long boots.
What did he say?
It's knee-high boots, accompanied by a clutch purse. I also decided to give her a little skirt and then also a long sleeve shirt with puff sleeves at the ends. For the skirt, I wanted to give her some patchwork. And of course, she has to have her cute little sunnies. And then just to add a little spice to the hair, I also gave her some cute little ribbons. Now for the colors. For the top, I wanted to give her a neon green top and then also some colorful hair. Of course, it looks like Harley Quinn. It's not Harley Quinn. It's more of color streaks in her hair instead of ombre, something like this, a bit more pastel-y. But of course, I don't have pastel color pencils. For her makeup, it's just some simple winged eyeliner along with some purple and pink lip gloss shown above. For the eyes, I decided to give her some messy purple eyeshadow but also a little bit of glitter tears. And then of course ribbons will also be purple just to really match and have a cohesive look. And as you can see, the shirt is black, the purse is green, and the patchwork is purple. Now let's get to the doll. For the clothes, I started off with the jacket using a simple tank top pattern for the top part of the jacket, which I made pretty much on the spot. And then I just used some slanted rectangle shapes to make the sleeves. I then sewed those two together and began on the patchwork. I just cut out a bunch of different rectangles and square shapes out of 3 different purple fabrics. To actually achieve the patchwork, it was pretty hard to sew it with my sewing machine because it just sucked it all up. So I decided to just hand sew it all, which could be difficult because I didn't know which right side to sew on, but eventually I got it right and I think it turned out pretty well. I then sewed on the button so the skirt can be as fitting as possible. And began the shirt. I began by using Mod Podge to seal all the frayable edges. I then sewed it together and then cut the tank top in half so I can add the button. I ended up getting a bit creative and decided to add almost colorful cut marks on the top just to add a bit of flair because I thought just having a plain neon top wasn't bright enough. And finally, the clothes were finished. As usual, I used hair from the doll planet and quickly began my work. I began by wrapping the doll's face up and starting by using pink all around the border. As I built up the hair, I started to use blonde in most of the areas. And for little patches on the parts inside, I used my purple and blues. I actually ended up purchasing a new rerouter as mine was a bit too weak from the doll planet, so that was a pretty interesting experience. I then used Mod Podge because I ran out of Elmer's glue to seal the hair in. I then used boiling water in my tongs to help flatten the hair. Like usual, I bring a tiny comb to lightly brush through the hair and make sure there's no more tangles. And here's how the doll looks, of course with wet hair. Begin by spraying the doll's face in a ventilated area using Mr. Super Clear. To start off with the face, I used the color pencil that's closest to the doll's face color, and of course I messed up on the right eye very much, but eventually I got it right and used purple to get a darker outline. I started by giving the doll 2 different eye colors, one purple, one green, and then filling it in with my color pencils. Once the eyes looked pretty good, I grabbed out my black color pencil and started to add the eyeliner. Of course, this was very difficult, especially on the right eye, but I eventually got it correct. As if the face-up couldn't get any more difficult, I ended up having to do the eyelashes, which did get a bit chunky at first, but fixed it, erased it, and it looks much better. I then add on a little bit of cute shapes on the face, such as stars and hearts. Like I did with the eyes, I used a green color pencil to mark out how the mouth and eyebrows will look, and then used purple to actually fill it in. Once everything looks good, I start by adding the eyeshadow using a lilac pastel. Once that looks good, I get a little bit of magenta pastel and blend it in. Once everything looks good, I grab out my paint and start painting in the eyes. For the green, I did have to mix in some colors to make a sort of light neon green. I decided that the eyebrows weren't dark enough and decided to paint them with a purple brown. I then add in a little bit of ombre to the purple and greens just to add a bit more life to it. Once that looks all good, I add in the eye shine and tried in a new streak of white. Of course, I add in the lip gloss with the pink and purple. I personally like to do this last as I don't really want to mess up the lips and spray the doll again. I then get out my purple pencil to emphasize her smile. I then add in the glitter using a metallic purple, and lastly add in some gloss. I then wrap the head and kind of just fall in love with the face. Like usual, I make the glasses out of a bunch of glued plastic. I then make the earrings out of some old doll earrings. And now for the purse, I used some cardboard as a base, painting the bottom hidden part green, and then adding all the shown sides with the actual fabric of the purse. To keep the shape of it, I coated it in Mod Podge so it also has a little bit of a wrinkled look. I then start painting in my little Murakami monster. Oh my god, it looks absolutely adorable. For the hands, I cut off the fingers and used clay to give an illusion of a peace sign, and did the same for the thumb. I then made the
closest shade of paint I could and painted the hand with a similar shade using watery paint. I randomly decided that I wanted to give the doll tattoos, so I decided to give her a various assortment of cute little monster characters. I started in by painting some skull cherries, which was a bit difficult because getting the little jaw of the skull was really tiny. Added in the stems and started to add little stars and hearts on her arms. I also painted on a little Kuromi and also made a little Murakami monster. I then glossed up the whole thing to make sure it's intact and I was finished. For the heels, I used some bent cardboard and stuck needles in them to add a base. And then silly enough, I used a little bit of foundation mixtures to make the wedge. To make sure it had some sort of structure, I used hot glue to make sure it was secure and then also layered it over it. For the fabric of the shoes, I decided to just glue it on the leg because it would be too frumpy if I sewed. I then painted on any parts that were not black with black paint. And for the horns, I just used some Model Magic, which is actually very easy to use.
The prophecy is true.
And painted it with different shades of pink to make an ombre. I also added some metallic pink to add some shimmer, and here's what it looks like. I started by adding on the horns using some epoxy super glue. And then put in the head, which I had to be very delicate for as I didn't want to mess up the hair. Here's the final reveal.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this process as much as I did. Be sure to check out my Etsy shop and social media down below, and happy Halloween!